now that I'm all calm and serene. Next up, we are going to be sharing something truly special with you. I'm certainly very excited to have the privilege to experience Claire and her skills as an animal communicator with my pets. So this will be a live demo for Claire to connect with my pet. Hello and welcome again to another episode of At Home with Marltons. Today we have a very special guest with us. We are going to be having a conversation about something that is very close to my heart and a little bit different to what we normally do. I'm so thrilled to have the incredible Claire Fitzgerald on our show today. She is an animal communicator who has a deep connection with the animal world. Claire will be taking us through her inspiring journey as an animal communicator in this unique field and share some of her magical experiences and also hopefully give you some advice and tips in terms of how you can be a better animal communicator with your pets. Claire, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
Well, I'm telling you, it's been so thrilling to learn a little bit more about your journey and your world as an animal communicator. I did a lot of reading up and watched a couple of videos online as well. So I'm sure many people are going to be intrigued by this topic today and intrigued by your field of expertise. So tell me a little bit about who you are as Claire, so that the listeners and the viewers today can get to know you a little bit better.
Well, yeah, sure. Where can I even begin? And my love of animals started so early, I can't even remember. I'm trying to remember my first memory of being with an animal, and I can't. I just remember being surrounded by cats and having a deep, deep love for them, and always feeling a sense like that draw, like a sense of connection with them. I'm sure we all those who love animals feel that way.
Claire, at what point did you realize that you had this innate ability and natural intuition in sensing animals?
The aha moment only really came when I did my first workshop with my mentor, Diane Budd. And I just had this moment with a cat where I felt that absolute connection, my heart to theirs, and I burst into tears, and it was just the most beautiful thing I'd ever experienced. But I think I had always felt connected. It was just quite subtle, and it was so everyday that I kind of took it for granted. And I think a lot of people do. When you love an animal, you will be connected and you will feel what they feel. But when they're around you so often, you live in a way that's so in tune with one another. It's not something that really is in your face. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, absolutely. You started off teaching horse riding. I don't have the privilege of being in contact with horses all the time, but my feed is full of horses and horse riding, and love watching farriers shoeing horses. One of my favorite things to watch on Instagram. They have such a unique ability to connect with humans. You started off teaching horse riding before you started pursuing animal communication. So how did you transition then from teaching horse riding into being an animal communicator?
Quite a natural process, and I owe everything I know now to my horse Jack and his beautiful herd, because I feel like I had such an initiation being basically a part of them, learning from them, working with them, and starting to really feel things as I was teaching. And I don't know that I was consciously aware of it, but I would just know, ooh, okay, I shouldn't push here, or ooh, okay, I think this horse is quite tired, or they might be sore here. And then I'd adjust my lessons accordingly. I found that the kids got it really quickly. The kids often would pick up things and tell me, but at that point I didn't really know what it was. And that's something quite magical. Children are naturally in tune. They don't have the filters and baggage that we do as adults. So they flow with it really beautifully. And I found that there were lots of instances of that. One of my kids, I think she was 7 years old, she skipped a jump even though she was supposed to go straight over a jump with the one horse. And I said to her, what's going on? You didn't jump the jump? She's like, oh no, the horse wasn't feeling right. I just went around it. She didn't want to. And I think that's so beautiful that she, even though she loved jumping, she went around it. I mean, it's just so special. So they played a very big role, and they really opened me up and they made me feel. And my horse has just been incredible. I'd have days where I was feeling down or I'd feel overwhelmed, and he would just be slow with me. He'd be quiet with me. He'd hang his head. There'd be moments where he knew I needed cheering up, and then he'd be quite silly and, tap into how I was feeling. And then I was like, there's really something here. They can feel what we feel, which is really quite special. And then when I started my training, and when I really started thinking about it and focusing on it and really drew my awareness to it, then I started having very interesting interactions. And I remember riding one horse who's always been a very good communicator. He's very sharp. And I was still figuring it out. And I was thinking about things. Okay, I'm going to slow down here. I'm going to speed up here. And he would just do it without me asking. I was planning in my head where on the path I was going to do these things. And he just did it. And then I had the thought of, wow, you can hear everything I'm thinking, can't you? And he put his head down and he went, and he just did that, which was just amazing. Such beautiful confirmation that he was hearing what I was thinking.
And was that the trigger point where you thought there's something more here for me?
It was actually when Diane came out to see my horse Jack, who's in the background there, the big love of my life. I was having some difficulties with him. He wasn't very well. And at a last resort, I thought, oh, okay, I think I'm going to try a communicator. And what she told me just blew me away. I was a bit skeptical, to be honest, and I just couldn't believe the things that she came up with. It made such a profound difference to me and my connection with him. I decided right there on the spot I was going to do her courses, and that's what I was going to do. I was doing a master's at the time, and I thought, no, quitting the master's, I'm going to do this.
So it was really a pivotal moment for you to say that this is your calling, right? More than your original chosen career or field of study.
Definitely. I'd always wanted to be a vet when I was little, but I never pursued that, having to go to Onderstepoort and, deal with the very medical issues and surgery and that kind of thing. I didn't think I could do that, but I just needed a way to channel my love for animals. And then I found this, and I'm so lucky to be able to do what I do and, live my life's passion and be able to make a difference in animals' lives. It's really special.
Animal communication can be quite a bit of a mystery, and even to yourself, you said you were a little bit skeptical in the beginning and didn't really know what to expect. You trained in zoopharmacognosy and Reiki. How did that support or improve or played a role in your animal communication and healing?
My Reiki journey started before my animal communication journey, and that definitely drew my awareness to an energetic connection, an awareness of energy flow and, energy healing. It was quite an eye-opener. I was 18 at the time, and I feel like it was a really important moment in my life. And I did practice on people and animals, and so I knew that there was something more. Was very aware that there was something more. And now I find I can't do without it. The animal communication and the energy work, the Reiki, go hand in hand. And I find that they are really, they can be so synergistic. So when you feel a heavy emotion from an animal, then you can do a bit of energy work to release it. Or, for example, something like zoopharmacognosy, which is self-selection of animals' plant extracts. They do it naturally in the wild. There's lots of cases of wild animals, for example, parrots looking for clay on like the side of a mountain so that they can bind toxins in the body. There are birds that make their nests with very strong smelling herbs that they find in their environment to keep mites away and that kind of thing. It's a natural phenomenon that our domestic animals can put into practice as well if we offer them the right things. So they self-select and they choose what they need at the moment. So I used to work a lot with essential oils. We need to do it very safely. So it's not just for anybody to go out and use them because they're very strong. But there would maybe be a horse that was feeling a particularly strong emotion, and then I'd get out an appropriate oil and let them sniff it, and then they could release it. They could release it well. It's a nice way to assist them in the healing process.
You just have to watch any National Geographic show or animal program. I've often come across in these programs where there is natural minerals or herbs or whatever that the animals seek out. But now understanding the science behind it with zoopharmacognosy, that it is a natural instinct of animals. It's incredibly interesting. Can you tell me a little bit, and for the viewers and listeners, what is animal communication really? What does it do? and maybe also what it isn't.
So animal communication isn't very well understood, although I think it is being a little bit more normalized in this day and age. It's definitely quite mystical because it is a telepathic connection. We're communicating telepathically via thoughts. And if you break down the word telepathy, tele is distance and pathy is feeling. So we're feeling over a distance, basically. And if your heart is open, if you're coming from a place of love, you will be able to connect with that individual you're thinking of. So for example, your animal. So it's got to come from a place of love. And we're basically sharing images, feelings, thoughts, a sense of knowing, like a feeling in the body, that kind of information with one another. Usually it comes through in the strongest sense. So for example, the people who are artists usually, or quite creative, they'll get visuals. Somebody who's a musician might hear more. Somebody who's very empathic will feel in their body. And it's different for all of us. There's no one right way to experience it.
Amazing. On the one hand, some people are more naturally inclined to feel, and even if they might not know it, experience telepathy. And then it's that honing in that skill of tapping into that energy and communicating emotional feelings over distance. And then how does the animal communication and the zoopharmacognosy and the Reiki, how do they work together? Because you do more than just communication, and what you will be doing a little bit later today on the podcast with me in terms of communicating with my animals. You use all three of those combined. Tell me a little bit more about that.
They work so well together. They really do. It's so lovely when an animal communicates something to you, like a feeling in the body. Maybe they've got a sore leg, or maybe there's a heavy emotion, and then you can use either energy work or maybe a plant extract, a remedy to assist them to feel better or to release what needs to be released. So for example, an animal that's feeling very nauseous, I often suggest to their guardians to offer them fresh peppermint leaves. Not to eat, but just to sniff. If you break open peppermint leaves, rub it between your fingers, it releases the aroma molecules. And if you offer it to them, obviously in a nice way, don't shove it in their face. It must be easy for them to sniff, and never forced. It's self-selection, so nothing forced on them. They can take a nice deep breath in, and those aroma molecules will go directly into the bloodstream and help with nausea. It's a good appetite stimulant. So if an animal's not eating, it can be a really nice gentle home remedy to use to help support them. Just keep in mind that peppermint's a very strong herb. We never want to force it onto them. So if they move away from it or show that it's uncomfortable to them in any way, we respect that. And that's working with the self-selection principles. They get to choose, they get to decide. Energy work can be so helpful as well, because if you're dealing with a blockage, say for example, a horse has a very sore leg, and sometimes I feel like there's a lack of flow to the area, almost like a rock in a river. So the rivers, they're beautiful energy flowing through the body, and then there might be a rock in the way. That's the injury, or like a kind of blockage. And then I will use not just Reiki, but other modalities to help the animal to clear that.
Amazing. And
so that they can be better.
It's really holistic, really, at the end of the day, and pulling on those various modalities to help in that situation, or provide guidance or healing in that situation based on what is going to be most effective for that particular animal and guardian.
It really depends on what they need, and I'll adapt to what they need. Some might prefer the energy work, some might just want the communication, some might really want to select things to sniff or to nibble on, and I really adjust it to the individual. I think a really good example is I had a dog client who had been adopted by a family member. Their guardian had unfortunately passed, and this dog was about 5 years old and really feeling deep grief, and was a little bit overwhelmed by everything and not coping in the new home. So they got me to chat to the dog. Chatting about it helped a bit, but they still weren't themselves. And then they decided, okay, let's do a healing session, where I did a little bit of energy work for them, and I was able to help them really release that deep grief that was sitting on their chest, and just reassure them that, they'd always have part of their person with them, their guardian, and the guardian had gone to the light. And I felt quite quite a lovely release with that dog. And then afterwards, it was like a nice big sigh, and they could cope a little bit better, and they were able to relate a little bit better to the rest of the family. I think they had a lot going on with their nervous system as well. So the new mom did a lot of balancing techniques to help reset the nervous system, which is really lovely. I mean, there's so much that people can do at home to support their animals. And that really helped as well. But it's everybody working together so that the animal feels better. It's not just me. And a lot of it is the animal wanting to improve. It's the animal releasing. I'm just a facilitator.
Yeah. It's like with my journey with Jasper as well. So, I struggled to connect with him initially because I didn't raise him from a puppy, where every other dog, with even Hartstoch that we adopted, he came to me when he was 12 weeks old, and it was all of a sudden getting this adolescent dog in my house, and I didn't have that like nurturing bond that I had with raising him from puppyhood. So understandably, on top of having taking in an older dog and having that deep sense of loss and grief on top of it, but it's amazing that, and absolutely so profound, that there's a discipline in animal wellness and welfare that is your field, that can unlock and support both guardian and pet to find that way of healing each other almost, in a way, and moving forward in a very, very fulfilling and positive relationship. And I don't think it's a tool that many people think or realize is out there for them. And if there is something that is standing in the way, or that is causing stress in the relationship or within your pet, to know that this tool is available, I think it's redefines the toolbox that we have as pet owners of what we have to take care of our pets. We all think about nutrition, and we think about going for daily walks, and we think about stimulation, and going to the vet to make sure that everyone's vaccinations are up to date, and with going to the groomers and those kind of things. But there's another set of tools in the toolbox, that is animal communication, that we should spread the word about, and realize that there's this other really, really, I want to use the word magical, but I think it puts more mystery then back into it. But it is a magical tool that's available to us. And Claire, it's although you are a professional animal communicator with many, many years of experience, and you've really honed your skill and your craft, anyone can tap into animal communication. So do you want to maybe share with us a little bit about what are those basic signals that we can look out for to help understand our pets better? And what are those daily practices maybe that we can bring into our own homes and in our own journey as pet guardians, so that we can tap into that skill, because it's a skill set that lives in our toolbox for ourselves as well as for a professional like yourself.
So important. And I would love for everybody to know and to connect with that deep inner wisdom and that way of just being in the world, that connected way of being in the world that we all possess. There's so many blocks in the way that we live our lives, the busy, hectic schedule that we live by, the rat race. It makes our minds very busy. And if your mind's very busy, your mind's not open to receiving from anybody else. So the way that we communicate is usually quite clear with our animals. We're like radio towers broadcasting all of our feelings and emotions to them 24/7. Our poor animals, they hear a lot from us, but what we tend to struggle with is the listening part. And that requires a nice deep breath, feeling calm, being in the present moment, slowing down those thought patterns like the wavelengths, being in a receptive state of mind so that you can hear your animal. And I would just encourage people to be in a calm, quiet space, take a couple of deep breaths, sit with them and just feel into it. Notice what happens and trust what comes to you. I think that the next biggest obstacle, apart from having busy minds, is that people doubt what they receive. So you probably find that many people, myself included before I started doing this, were picking up things from their animals all of the time, but yeah, that didn't really happen. Oh no, it must have been this. I must have seen it. Or so trust what you get. I think that's really important. And the more you trust yourself, the more it flows. And like any muscle, the more you practice your intuition, the more that you practice your deep inner wisdom, your knowing, your beautiful connection with your animals, it gets stronger and you get better at it. So trust and it will flow. It's so important. Something like meditation can really help get you into that receptive state of mind. Animals love us to be present. They want us to be present with them. So your animals really love you sitting outside under a tree, sitting with them quietly, being in a receptive state that you can receive from them and just see what comes up. A lovely, fun thing you can do with your dogs is to be quiet and just think in your mind, oh, walk time, walk time. Picture yourself going to where their leads and collars are and picture yourself picking them up and see what happens. Notice what happens. Often they'll respond. You can do it with cats as well. Maybe you think of getting the yummy treats out and notice what happens around you. They pick up on this kind of thing all of the time. They often know when we're planning something. I mean, cats know when they're going to the vet, hey? Cats often will hide when you're thinking about going to the vet. Dogs know when you're going away. It's not species specific, but they pick up on these things. It's quite incredible. If we just listened more, we'd all benefit. We really would.
I think you touched on something so profound there that will bring all of this into perspective for us, or something that we've all experienced. And I think you've kind of just connected those dots for everyone to understand what animal communication really is all about, because we all know, whether we have a dog or a cat, and I'm sure it's true for birds, maybe not fish necessarily, but I'm sure it's true for birds as well, maybe even with some of the smallies with rabbits. Rabbits are incredibly intelligent, incredibly social animals. But when I put my trainers on to go to the gym versus when I put my trainers on because I'm going to walk my dogs, they know the difference. And that is communication. They tap into that because I put it out there that we're going to go for a walk and this is why these trainers are coming on. Or when my husband comes out of the bedroom in the afternoon, he goes in and out of the bedroom often during the afternoon, but when he's coming out to feed them, they know. So and I think we all have experiences of that where we go, yes, actually, that is communication. And I think what your message is to make it more intentional, but to not only communicate to them, but to also let them communicate with you. And you can only really do that when you are quiet and in a relaxed state of mind.
Absolutely. It's so important. And then beautiful things start happening when you find that inner peace, that calm, the calm moments in the day. We feel better. The calmer we are, the calmer everybody is around us. And then it spreads out and the better everybody feels. So I feel like there needs to be a paradigm shift where we all live a more calmer, connected life for our benefit and the benefit of our animals, our friends, our families, and everybody around us. So yeah, just breathe. Breathe for the benefit of everybody. Actually, such a common request. It's such a common request, breathing. One of the number one things, apart from food is almost always the number one thing that comes up. Breathing. Please just tell mom to breathe. Please. Because there's a physiological reaction, like when you breathe in, you breathe out, it's like you're really resetting that nervous system. It's so important. We don't breathe enough. We don't breathe deeply the way that we live our lives. It's so important. So breathe for your animals, please.
And they are actively telling us to take a breath.
Yes,
I love
they
that.
are. They are. They are.
Claire, and that also ties into a little bit of what your own personal mission in life is, right? And that is to have a world where pet guardians and their animals are in sync with one another, and communication with our animals becomes the norm, and that we all are more in tune to not only communicate to them but to listen. You teach animal communication to others as well. Is it one-on-one coaching sessions? Is it more like in a mentor session? Because I think on the one hand, having as a pet guardian or pet owner, we like the word guardian. Having an intimate session with a pet communicator, I think instantaneously you walk away and you go like, yes, this is something I want to practice more. This is something that I can do, and I'm going to make a conscious effort of just being still and receiving from them. But for people who want to be part of your wave to send out this ripple effect of being more in tune with our animals, how does teaching your teaching approach, or how does it work if someone wants to move into animal communication? Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
This is my big love. This is where I get super excited with the workshops. I love teaching. It's so close to my heart. I love sharing what I know and learning from others, because I find whenever I teach somebody, I get so much back. It's really special. So I teach classes a group. So it'll be maybe between 4 and 8 people per class. It's in person in Cape Town or online. I've done online workshops for people overseas, people in the US, people in Italy, the UK. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you want to learn and you have an open heart, then I would welcome you. And I feel like, that aha moment for people in the workshop where they know that they can do it. They realize they can do it. There's just nothing more special than that. It is so incredible. And then they get so excited and they're so passionate. And then they go and tell other people. And then they put it into practice, this beautiful, deep connected way of being. And then the ripple effect is huge. If they tell 10 people, then 10 people tell others. I honestly feel like this is how we change the world. If everybody would work on that deep connection with themselves, with your own inner knowing, your own intuition, and then that lovely connection that flows with your animals. Be mindful of it and intentional way of coexisting. A deep respect for animals and nature, a way of coexisting, not just, being the animal owner, being their guardian, treating them with respect and reverence for their own unique way of being. That is so special. If we shift our mindset there, the possibilities are endless. And people often ask me, but you're creating competition for yourself, teaching all these people animal communication. I'm like, no, please send them. If we could all do this and we all put it into practice, it would be a whole new world. And then I just do something else. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, there's so many animals in need, so I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a long time before you're going to be out of work, and I think if you are out of work, it means that every single communicator, every single animal is being listened to, and then that is the ultimate mark of success. If you no longer have a job, because then you've achieved your mission.
This is my dream. This is my dream. I dream of a world where we all just understand each other so beautifully, and we're in this wonderful flow. And I think respect is so important as well. Deep, deep respect. That coexisting, like creating this beautiful future together where we're all kind of equal, and we all, respect one another's wishes and, needs and wants. I think would be a very, very special place, especially if you're working from the heart. And I think that's a beautiful thing that this work teaches. And why I'm so deeply affected by what I do, and like in positive and also ways that can become a bit heavy, if I'm dealing with a particularly heavy case. It is hard work. Like I give all of my heart. So if everybody was more like heart-centered and working with love, I really think the world would change quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only way to change the world and society is to start. And, if you're starting with people who care about animals, they already care for something greater than themselves. So what better place to start where there's already love and care, and to amplify from that vantage point. Next up, I'm so thrilled to be able to experience what Claire does. So this will be a live demo for Claire to connect with my pets. I have sent over some photographs of my pets, clear photographs of them individually. I have not shared any information around my animals with Claire beforehand. I'm very eager and excited to hear what Claire is going to share with me about my animals and what she is able to communicate to me about what they are trying to communicate to me. Claire. Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to have your expertise and to have you do this demonstration on my pets. Please, over to you, and looking forward to what you have to share with me.
I'm so excited. As you're talking, it's so funny because they all pop into my head, and it's like the chatter, chatter, chatter. So I'm trying to focus and then hear them at the same time. So they're really eager. So I'm just going to check in with each of them, see what they want to share. If there's anything at any point that doesn't make sense, you just flag it for me. Sometimes things come through in a bit of a symbolic way. So sometimes we need a little bit of prompting, to unpack it a little bit for it to make sense, to get the context. And then just to keep in mind that their understanding of time isn't linear like ours is. So it's very normal for me to jump around quite a bit time-wise. They might bring up something from 2 years ago as if it happened very recently. So that can be hard to determine for me. Okay, so I'm going to tune in with them and see what they come up with. Okay, so let's see who wants to talk first. Okay. Jasper seems to want the limelight. He seems to want everybody to focus on him. But Lady feels like she's the boss, and she's like, you should be talking to me. Thank you very much. I run the show. And then Thor, he's like, oh, but what about me? Everybody else gets such a fuss. What about me? What about me? And he comes across as quite a sensitive soul. So it's very hard for me to see who was there first, who should I go with first. So I'm going to go with Lady. She gets her way because it seems like she's the boss lady. Okay, so let's see. She's so funny. She shows me all the space and being able to do like a little run around. So I don't know what this is. It's like almost being able to do a circle around. So it seems like she's able to investigate, I don't know, the perimeter of the property. I don't know what this is. And she's like, look at what I can do. Look at what I can do. And she's very excited. Does that make any sense to you?
Absolutely. So we used to live in a very small place, and the yard was very small, and they weren't able to ever see outside onto the street because it was just a wall. And we recently moved to a beautiful property that they can now go around the property, and they can actually see the gates, and they can see the world outside. And there is like 3 times the space that there was before. So that's amazing.
She's so excited. She's so delighted by that. So I'm just telling her, lucky girl, that she gets to be in such a beautiful space. Okay, so then Lady brings up that there's been a bit of stress in the home, and she feels it very deeply when her people are stressed, and she feels like it's her role to take care of everybody and make sure that they feel okay. So just something to be mindful of if anybody's been a bit stressed lately. She says the chest, it's like she brings up like a heaviness on the chest. Usually with things like that, it can be stress, it can be anxiety, often it's grief, especially if it's like a heavy pressure. So she just brings that up. It's something that she's feeling on behalf of the family.
It might be me because I carry my stress quite visually. It's very upfront. It might be with me. And we recently had one of our sausages pass away. He very sadly drowned in the pool. He was very elderly. So I think it might be that as well.
Sorry, is that the dark dog? Is that the dark one?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I could kick myself because I kept getting this. I couldn't tell if it was a cat or a dog that kept coming through at first. He's a beautiful dark doggy. And I was getting so scrambled in my head because I've got so many of them to focus on, but they definitely showed me doggy that's crossed over. Animal that's crossed over, beautiful, dark, seemed little, so that's why I thought it might have been a cat. And I'm okay. So I'm really sorry that he's crossed over, but it seems like he's quite happy where he is now because he's surrounded by light, and he says he will be the one to welcome anybody else who's ready to transition, who's ready to cross over. So don't worry, we can send our loved ones his way. Very sweet. There's a wonderful feeling of lightness with him. There's a beautiful sense of peace, and I know it must have been very traumatic for you guys. It feels like it was quite an easy, gentle way for him to go into the next phase. So he doesn't want anybody to be sad for him because he's great. He's in the light and he's causing nonsense. And he says he's even the boss of big dogs because there's some kind of big dog. It's like I can't tell, looks chunky, quite big, medium to large size, looks chunky. So not streamlined or anything like that, and looks like a brownish, like a, not quite a deep brown, but like a medium brown kind of color. He's like, I'm even in charge of this dog. So I don't know who this is, but
Yeah,
very
that's
funny.
Hansel. It was a basset that I rescued. He he's an amazing dog, but he had this habit of swallowing garden pebbles, and then it was like kind of a recurring thing. And then at some point, he had something stuck in his esophagus, and we tried everything. We're at the vet, and we just couldn't sort that out. This is amazing. I mean, yeah. And Hatzuk is like always with us because he's such a dear animal, and just to keep him alive and with us all the time. So that's amazing. Thank you.
Very special. So that's the big one. Okay, because he's really, really chilled. Like, I know my worth. I'm super confident. I love everybody. Feels like he's very well known. So, like, his legacy definitely lives on. Very special. So he's good too. So I'm just saying thank you to the ones in the light. We hold you in love. Very grateful for your messages. And just know that they're always available to you. If you just ask them to be there, they will. I'm moving on to
Perfect.
Thor because he catches my attention. He's so sensitive. Needs all the love. I just want to bubble wrap him and protect him from all the loud noises and everything. He seems to be a little bit worried about strange people as well, like anybody that he doesn't know. Things need to be predictable for him. So if you have any people coming to work or anything that's going to change, just let him know. And you can talk out loud to him and say, okay, Thor, there's going to be these and these and these people today, and they're going to be banging on the wall. It's going to be okay. Um, says, but have I seen his tummy? Have I seen how gorgeous his tummy is? And then lets out a groan, and then he shows me all of his beautiful curls. I mean, so cute. So flippin' cute. So I'm just saying to him, well, thank you for showing me your tummy. It's gorgeous. I'm assuming
That
then
is,
that he's happy with me.
yeah, and he always does that. He literally would come running up to you like all excited, and then he'd like flop on his back and show you something. I always thought he wants a belly rubs, but now I know why he
Yes.
does it. He really loves his coat. That's amazing.
Gorgeous. All of these beautiful
He
curls.
does.
Um,
He has a beautiful coat.
he's seven. He says that there's like a thief amongst the dogs. Somebody grabs stuff away from him. Somebody's always stealing things, and I don't know who it could be. I don't know that it's Jasper. I thought it was a small dog. Does anybody else interact with them? Like any friends? Do they have any friends? Because he definitely shows me somebody taking away from him, and he says it's very rude. So I don't know.
Yeah, so we did have a friend of ours who also has a spaniel that comes over. So it might be Norbert potentially. And Lady and Thor do have a little stuffed toy that they often kind of argue about.
My
Lady
things.
thinks
It's my
it's
things. Could be, because it seems like somebody smaller than him, but yeah, it no, it doesn't want the thief stealing his things.
okay.
He's quite attached to
Okay.
his things. Even if he doesn't use it, don't take it. It's mine. It must be there.
Okay.
So one of those. So I'm just saying to him, good leaders share their things. That's what good leaders do. And we know that he can be kind and let others also have a turn. Such a good boy. He's not very impressed about that. And then he says the carrots. He says he doesn't really want carrots. So, are you trying to get him to eat carrots?
So yeah, so I tried to give either some carrots or cucumbers, and yes, I always thought he really liked it.
It's so funny because he says it's not really what he wants. He doesn't want that orange stuff. He's looking for something else. And I think it's something dry, and like meaty. So, do you give them any biltong or anything like that?
Yes, so obviously working for Marltons, we do a lot of
Of
product
course.
development, and I have a little basket with production samples to sign off. And he loves our new Marltons Originals treats. And when we were doing the production sample, like a little naughty child, I would find underneath my desk. But he like very carefully opened the packet, and then he ate all the biltong samples out of the packet. And he loves it. And whenever I've been in the office or in the warehouse where we interacted with the Marltons Originals product. It's like he can smell me from the car. And he's like on my basket the whole time, and he goes gaga for that stuff. He loves it.
That is so funny. So not carrots. Can I please have the good stuff? So
Yeah,
it's Thor approved. Oh, that's divine.
love it.
Okay, and then his chatter calms down a little bit. I'm checking in with Jasper. Jasper, now it's like he's gotten stage fright.
He's a rescue that we adopted from Woodrock. He's very busy. It's like insane. And so he does love the limelight. So it's interesting that
Yeah,
he's
so
gone.
it shows me his burrowing. He likes to burrow. So it's like little nesting, burrowing. And he doesn't like it when anybody messes with his like frommeled blankets and things. We mustn't make it straight. We must leave it as it is. He gets very upset if we go and rearrange. He thinks that's quite rude. And then he does have very sensitive ears. Like his hearing is pretty incredible. And sharp sounds. There's some kind of sharp sound that's very jarring for him. I don't know what it could be. I'm thinking of something like an alarm or something like that, like beeping. Yeah, I don't know what that could be.
When our alarm gets triggered, it comes on our phones. And even for me at 2 o'clock in the morning, when that thing goes off, it might be that. So I'll have a look and see if we can change the sound to maybe something that's not as loud, because it is a horrible sound.
Quite strong for him. And then it's very sweet because he seems to like the youngsters. And then he says he feels very loved by the youngsters. And then I see him being, I know you say he's very busy, but with them I see him being quite floppy and like, okay, yes, you can hold me like this. Yes, you can do that. And he just laps it all up. It's really sweet. I think they can get away with a lot with him.
Absolutely. He loves kids, absolutely loves kids. Kids love playing with him. Even if we walk in the street and kids are coming up to us in the street, like they just gravitate to him immediately.
Oh, so cute. Special boy. Was there anything that you wanted to ask them in particular? Anything you wanted to know?
Well, I think for me, because when you said Thor is so sensitive, we always worry, have we done something wrong when he was a puppy? I just want to know, did we do anything? That's the reason why he's anxious a lot of the time.
So you ask the question, they immediately start answering. So if you see my facial expressions changing, that kind of thing, he already starts answering you as you're asking the question. But it doesn't feel like it's anything that you did. He doesn't bring up a particularly scary thing that happened. There was something about being left alone that he was a little bit worried about, and being confined that was a little bit scary. But it feels like he's always been incredibly sensitive, right from a pup. And I'm sure you would have experienced that. It just feels like he's different. He's different to his sister. This is just him.
Like that's really, it empowers me. So, I know going forward how to deal with that. I feel like I'm very in tuned with them. I understand Lady a lot better now, because I always said she's the alpha. I did sense that there was a sadness in her that helps me a lot to understand her. With Jasper, he was a rescue. I just want to know if there's anything traumatic from his experiences that we should know about that could be triggering for him. So I feel quite emotional about him, that potentially could, remind him of where he comes from. No, that's the only thing.
I'm sorry. Amazing that animals generally live in the present moment and they don't often hold on to things from the past. So that's something really beautiful. I think that's something that he does quite well. So I'm just asking him if there's anything that he'd like to let us know from his past. Oh, he shows me many dogs, and then something with his mouth. Do you know if he wore a muzzle or anything like that before?
I don't know much about his past. I did ask Woodrock if there's anything that we should know, or if there's any background to him, and they also don't know.
He just shows me lots of dogs being stressed by so many, but that might also be at the shelter, unless they're foster based. Then maybe it was from before. I'm not quite sure. Just seems like many, and then it's like pressure on his mouth. I don't understand. Would be the only thing I can really think of is something like a muzzle. And he didn't like that. So I'm just saying to him, he'll never have that again. He'll always have freedom of movement, always keep his face beautiful and clear so that he can be his bright, gorgeous self, and he must know that you'll always treat his body with care and gentleness, as will the whole family. And he's quite sweet. He's like, yeah, it's been promised. You said you'd keep him safe. He's like, yes. And, like it's some big revelation. I'm telling him old news.
And I think also maybe I was taking him to the office too quickly, because he's such a beautiful personality. I just want people to you would be such a great office dog, but I think maybe it's a little bit too soon for him. I think he needs to have a bit more time.
He's quite keen to go. He's like, where's the party at? Where's the party at? He likes activity and a bit of chaos and all of that. And there's a lady with dark hair, looks like short dark hair, that he particularly likes. But it looks like everything's nice, neat. Everything's neat, very well presented. And he says he made an impression on her. Okay. And it seems like it's not easy to make an impression on this person. He's like, I got her to like me, which is so cute. He's bragging about that. It's so cute.
Amazing.
So cute.
Wow.
So I'm just saying to him, well done. Yes. Adorable. Oh, he's cute.
He is. He literally, he's a showstopper. I've never had a dog that people are so instinctively and intuitively drawn. He's a once in a lifetime soul to experience. He's the kind of dog that movies get made of.
Oh, I love that. That's such a beautiful, tribute to him. Cute man. I love him. And he definitely exudes that. He brings joy. It's really sweet. Was there anything else you wanted to ask anybody?
No.
Well, I hope it helps a bit. I hope it's been interesting.
Wow, Claire, no, Anthony, that was such a revelation. I honestly didn't know what to expect. So, just from the very first get-go, tapping into their world and into their reality. I feel like I'm very in tune with my pets. And understanding some of this a little bit more, and the communication part for me with Thor especially, because he's like my shadow. He walks with me throughout the house all the time. So I think he will be happier and more relaxed and calmer. With Lady, she is absolutely the boss. I always with my brother-in-law, when they come over, I said to them once, I have to understand she's the alpha here, but you come with all your alpha male energy, but this is her house. That's why she doesn't like you. Not because you're doing anything, but because she's a bit standoffish with you. Just that's how I'm reading the situation. So, and I'm so glad to know that is indeed the case, is that she does feel like she's the protector of the family. And I can also maybe help her a little bit to not feel like she always has to be the one that has to take everyone's safety in mind. And then old Jasper, we're just gonna have fun with him. He's just the little clown in the family and in the house, and make sure that we continue to make him feel safe. That's absolutely amazing.
They're so cute. So cute.
This is really it's an amazing experience. I hope and wish that every pet parent and pet guardian has the opportunity to actually sit down with someone like yourself and experience this, and the intimacy that I feel like so much more connected with my dogs now. It's insane. And I really hope that we can have as many people experience this kind of opportunity with their pets. I think I can't explain it. It's like next level, amazing. Thank you.
I'm just the mouthpiece. It's them working the magic. So
yeah, no. Claire, thank you so much for sharing so openly and freely from yourself and your amazing journey, and sharing your wisdom with us today on the podcast. I'm sure many people out there that was unsure about animal communication today has learned so much, and are hopefully very open to using and tapping into animal communication. Thank you so much for the lovely demo with my pets. It was, I think, one of the top 10 experiences of my life. It was absolutely amazing. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. I look forward to having you on again at some point in the future. Keep doing the work that you do. You matter. the animals that you help and the pet guardians that you help, they matter, and you are making a real difference in the world. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor. Thank you.
Because I'm sure there's going to be lots of interest. So where can people get in contact with you?
Well, the easiest way to get in contact with me is via my website. So that's Claire Fitzgerald, Claire Fitzgerald, Fitzgerald.co.za. And then all my contact information is there, my socials and all of that. Sometimes I share stories on Facebook and Instagram, animal shenanigans. It can be quite fun. But all of my details are there.
Excellent. And we'll also put up your contact details and your website address again on the blog as well, so that everyone can just get to your website quite quickly. It will be in the description as well as on screen, so that everyone can make a note of that. Okay, thank you again so much, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you so much. You too.